good example of cross innovation, because basically you went looking for expertise that you required for this new aspect of your business, the probiotics part. How did you decide on buying this company? Was it this company was interesting, or were you looking first for this kind of technology and then scouting for the specific company? How was the process?
In brief terms, the process was that we wanted to be a key player in the probiotics area, and we looked at several options. We still do that, and Organobalance was a very good fit, especially also when it comes to values and how we want to reach out and bring these biological solutions to the world. So there was a very good fit between the values of the two companies, I must say, and including all the assets as well.
Okay, I will ask Jeroen about some cross-innovation examples you have seen in your investments.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. So maybe to start off with, going back to the new business fund that we have. So just to be clear, I'm on the healthcare side, so this is also something kind of a new area, but I'll try to do my best here. So we in new businesses, we of course you can kind of do two things, like I said. So you can go into, venture into a new area which is close to our core area, or you can actually see whether there's some overlap and perhaps make an investment in that space. So, and I'll give two examples one example each. So first one is digital health. So digital health is something that is not Merck's core focus, so to say. I mean, we're big in antibodies, in small molecules. So what we tried to do was we wanted to explore the kind of digital side. So what we did is we made an investment in Akili. So Akili is a spin-out from the University of California, San Francisco. And there was the professor that has developed an algorithm to measure cognitive performance. Well, subsequently, what they did, they actually developed this into a game. So, because nowadays tablets, computers, they're super fast. So actually, you could run this algorithm on these tablets and on these phones. And what you could actually do is you can actually develop a game that measures the cognitive performance of, for example, patients with ADHD, depression, autism, etc., etc. And actually what the game does was it measures it, and at the same time it adapts actually to the difficulty level of the game, so that actually people get challenged, and they're actually learning, so they're actually enhancing their cognitive performance. Then you would say, well, okay, so a game and Merck, so what's the link there, of course? But it's actually quite interesting, because of course, if you look into the broader scope, I mean, essentially you're looking here at therapeutics. So Merck sells drugs in the end, to the patient. So if this is an area that is actually developing, that would definitely be something of interest to us. And the game is actually also developed as a drug, so it's running actually clinical trials and so on and so on. So it is actually a real drug. Second, also, for example, people with multiple sclerosis, which is an area where Merck's active in, they also have issues with cognitive performance. So you could think of actually using this game in combination with one of the drugs that Merck has on the market. So those are kind of links how we try to approach this. So this is actually an example that is a bit outside of the scope. So we also have one which is overlapping. So if you, for example, take a lab has a lot of bottles. They get empty. You don't know. I mean, if you ever been on a lab, you actually sometimes don't know when, whether the content expired, what's actually in there. So what you can do subsequently is you can actually take that area and actually combine this with electronics and make some sort of connected lab ID, right? So that you know what is in what if something happens, maybe if this bottle breaks or the cap's not screwed on correctly, an alarm goes off. So this is also something that's quite interesting, and this is a theme that we're kind of exploring, and maybe to build on that in that sense. So if you take this connected lab ID and replace a lab with a patient, you would get a way to measure actually compliance. So if a patient takes a lot of drugs and you need to make sure that he actually takes these drugs, you want to kind of measure that. And that's actually one of the other investments in the new business funds. That's a company, Medisafe. So it's a app, it's a platform that is able to track and also suggest when to take your meds. And this can also be coupled actually to these bottles, so to say. So these are kind of ways or examples, so to say, of cross innovation, I think, in industries.
And the investment you're making, is Merck as the pharmaceutical group directly also involved after the investment in some partnerships, for example, with Akili, for example, or another one?
No, good point. So the thing that you always hear is, oh, right, so, Merck Ventures makes an investment, so that probably means that Merck's also in. So that's definitely not the case. So we definitely try to separate those two. Of course, our model is as follows. So if something, we make the investment. So we do our own due diligence, and then only later on at a later time point where we feel that the company is moving in the direction that would make sense for Merck, then we start also to actually involve Merck people, and then we try to actually involve people from business development, but. You don't want to end up in a situation where you're investing in a company and that same knowledge ends up at the Merck Pharma or the Merck R&D side, because you get cross contamination, and that's something that's not good for us. It's not good for the company, and it's not good for Merck. So there are just a lot of risks. So hence we also said, like, okay, we want to be strictly separate from Merck, which is also why we have our headquarters in Amsterdam, to really make sure that you have that separation.
Okay. So now, Bettina, please, can you tell us more about the project Scopus?
Scopus. That's a very interesting project. It's all around HoloLens. I don't know if everybody is aware what HoloLens is. It's a device made by Microsoft. Actually, it's glasses running on Windows 10 for augmented reality. Augmented reality is virtual reality, or your normal reality combined with 3D. In contrast to virtual reality, where you just dive in a complete 3D world, augmented reality combines your real world with 3D models. Scopus. It's a Berlin company, and they are focusing on clinical navigation systems. And what they released just, I think, a week ago, it's a platform for the HoloLens, and they provide models for surgery. And the first surgery they are doing, it's spiral surgery. And so, like, HoloLens is a very good example for cross-industry. So this was developed, I think, 2-3 years ago, the HoloLens, and now we have examples in elevators, in engineering, and more in e-health as well, with some universities for e-learning, so you can just explain to the students the models of people. We have a partner who are developing models for designing operation theaters. Now we have the navigation system. And so we are building kind of a partner ecosystem around these different type of devices.
You should talk to Akili, because HoloSense is great for gaming also, so could be a nice idea.
Yes.
So yes, definitely. I think that's number one. I think, and point number two on the HoloLens. I think I've also heard, or maybe I should ask you. I mean, this is also super interesting in terms of molecule docking, so small molecules to proteins, fitting, etc., etc. Do you know of any applications that exist in that area?
No, I'm not, but you can develop it.
Awesome.
So it's actually you can buy a HoloLens, and or you can join the development program. And as Microsoft, we are supporting these developments as well, and we're bringing together. So yes, we can talk afterwards if you want to make a project.
This is true cross innovation happening.
Yeah, it's happening here.
Exactly.
Actually, I want to talk more about virtual reality, because so our next part we will try to explore more the trends and the future prospect of cross innovation in healthcare, and I think virtual reality could be something interesting for the healthcare, and in particular the the practice of medicine. With the example of Scopis is a good example. At Microsoft, do you have any idea or any innovation or trends you're seeing in the future for VR or even AR, so augmented related?
So, of course, virtual reality or augmented reality is a big trend, but as well, it's artificial intelligence in healthcare, which would be the really next big thing. And it's like how to analyze the data, how to use them for treatment, to predict what would be the best treatment for a patient, to make analysis. We have a Microsoft research group in UK, in Germany, in the States, which are analyzing data to identify tumors, for example, in the brain. This project is called Inner Eye. And it's a worldwide project for radiologists. And as well, we have a group searching on cancer treatment. And in January, we announced artificial intelligence partner alliance group, which is open and free for all the companies who are working in the space. So this will be one of the big next trends.
And does Microsoft have a specific technology for AI?
Well, actually, we at Microsoft, we are a platform and solution technology company, and we work with our partner companies. So the basis of all this technology is our technology, which could be the cloud platform Azure, with different types of things for analyzing data, for storing data, for operating them securely. That's the basis, and we are supporting our partners who are developing these solutions. And as well, we are investing in our own research.
Okay. And talking about AI, it's a bit the same question actually. Do you see any, or for both of you, do you see any trends in the AI and the drug development specifically? Maybe you have some portfolio companies working on this. I don't know.
So I think if we would have AI, that would be super easy, because then we wouldn't have to do the job anymore. We could just press the button and then we're done. So I think unfortunately it's not that straightforward. I think we still need minds, human minds to interpret the data. But coming back, I think to the point of AI in that sense, of course, is just really developed computing power, which with powerful algorithms, and I think that is actually that together. So the real development that you see on the digital side, and able to look into large data sets. I think that's pillar number one, so to say, of future trends. And then I think the other point, which was rightly pointed out by Ijad from ResearchGate, the $1,000 genome. So it's also so what this illustrates is that this development, not just in digital but also in other areas such as genomics, right? And we get also other technologies. I mean, we even have the group now, the omics group, so to say, right? So proteomics, metabolomics, etc., etc. So all these technologies, 10, 20, 30 years ago, they weren't actually available, or actually they were available, but they weren't quick enough. Same as with sequencing. So the fact that you can actually have on one side a lot of new technologies that you can use also in healthcare. So for example, metabolomics. So a company that we have in Israel, a startup, uses this metabolomics computer or combined with high power network analysis to find new drugs. So these things, I think, are an example where you see, I think, the future moving into, which is a bit different than just the industry level, but this is more, I would say, cross innovation into one specific industry, so to say. So it's a little bit different than the AI, but yeah, hope that kind of answers the question.
Sorry, another project we see coming up is medical adherence. It's like supporting patients really taking their drugs. Yeah, and we have a startup called Warehouse where they have developed a solution to remember the patient to take the medicine, but as well they're measuring if they really take the pill. Yeah, yeah, so that's kind of the same thing.
I wanted to bring the omics discussion a little bit further, because I fully agree with you. It's a very fascinating and fast developing field. What I see as a big challenge going forward, especially also for the development of probiotics, which are dietary supplements. And dietary supplements often are applied where you don't really have a disease. So the models around testing new probiotics that are actually have a more subtle effect and not cannot often be explained in clinical models either. I think here the combination of the omics field as monitoring field is very helpful in order to study mode of actions, to study these effects. But what we always lack is the metadata that is necessary in order to make correlations. And this metadata, I think, can come in the future from digital health applications, where even volunteers can take these harmless dietary supplements and report back how they feel, what they have been eating. Do they, it's about gut health in general, but also skin applications, other things are possible here. So here I think there will be a large need to join forces and see what can be done in the terms of digital health, the omics space, and developments like probiotics or drugs.
So maybe a question to you, Martin, on that, because indeed, you have on one side you need all the omics developments, and I think as you rightly pointed out, if you have the metagenomics, transcriptomics, genomics, proteomics, metabolomics, you can make a fairly good assumption on what type of probiotics you want to give. So do you also feel that there's some space there? Because I think that's one side, right? It's finding these targets, but in the end, it's also nice to bring that to the patient. So, where you have devices, point of care devices, where, for example, a person at home can actually measure something and then subsequently take the right probiotic with that. Are you also looking into that direction, or?
That would be, of course, a dream scenario. So what we haven't mentioned, you're completely right, is the available tools for home use to monitor yourself. Like it's known for, the mother company of Novozymes, Novo Nordisk, the stick where you can measure blood sugar. If you can develop these things in the future where you say, if I do this, I will probably get a little bit better. Self-medication is risky. I fully agree to that as well. But and that's why it's also good that digital health and some of these applications are regulated by the FDA. But it is a very interesting trend to follow, and I'm looking forward to that journey.
Yeah, on future trends, any other input from you? Something you see in your daily life dealing with startups or partners?
Yes, I have. What we didn't discuss so far is on the technology side is miniaturization. Also in this field here, organ systems, artificial organs, lab on the chips have been developed. We have been investing ourselves in microfluidics companies in San Francisco, and miniaturization of biology in order to either enable high throughput screening systems or to study complex processes in a more natural environment is a fascinating field as well. So also here we are interested to learn more, and especially in the we are not only interested in the human health sector. We have also growing business in the animal and companion pet sector with our new partnership with Boehringer Ingelheim and so on. So there are definitely needs to miniaturize and make new screening systems.
I think the Internet of Things will be one big innovation field in healthcare. We see it in other industries, like in supermarkets, like tracking and tracing. Where is this piece, and how do we track the stuff? And if you look inside a hospital, a normal hospital in Germany, they have around about 350 devices, and they are all run on old systems. They are not connected within the IT. A normal doctor spends a lot of time searching for the stuff Yeah, and they search for the patient, they search for the paper files, and they search for the devices. And so we can use the IoT scenarios from other industries to track these things. Yeah, or we can look at, for example, in the hotel business, we have a project in America where we are tracking and the washing of the bed sheets. Yeah, it's the same in hospitals. Yeah, you can just look a little bit in other industries and you can adopt the scenarios in healthcare. So I think IoT will be something. And you can use it for telemedicine as well. And there will be something from Microsoft coming up in some months.
Great. Something? No, okay. So we explored some examples you have seen. We explored some trends you are now seeing coming. But cross-innovation is also a challenge. It's not so easy to make people from different industry work together, from different size of company work together. So the next part will be about this challenge and the best practices and the key learnings you had in your respective experiences. Bettina, Microsoft, as you said, is playing the role of network between partners to put together the technology provider and the developer of the application and technologies. Can you tell us more about this specific role?
So, like the partner business is one of the core models of the Microsoft business as such. As I said before, we have 380,000 partners worldwide. In Germany, it's about 30,000. This can be any kind of partners. It could be software developers. It could be system integrators. There are startups, it could be device operators. And so part of my job is bringing these partners together. And I'm working with like software providers in healthcare and helping them to drive innovative projects. But as well, I'm working with partners who are not in the healthcare sector yet, and they are trying to bring them together because nobody can do all these projects alone, and everybody has some special knowledge in some special areas. And what is coming more and more is that these partner groups are working together and learning from each other, and we are building a platform to supporting these partnerships.
And do you have any challenge with the healthcare system, because it's something difficult, especially for software developers if they are coming from the software industry?
Yeah. So for a company which is not in the German healthcare market yet, it can be very challenging to enter the healthcare market. The German healthcare market is very special, not very fast. You need a lot of energy, and so yeah, my advice would be look for partners who are already in this kind of area, or come to us and we can build these ecosystems together.
And on the regulation aspect of healthcare, is there any? I mean, it's also particular. Each system is particular in the regulation. Is it also a challenge for these companies who try to innovate in healthcare?
Yeah. So if we look at innovation as such all over, like cloud computing is one of the big trends. Yeah, cloud computing in healthcare in Germany. It's a huge challenge.
With data protection or something?
With data protection. And so, for example, in Germany, patient data are not allowed to go outside of Germany. And in some areas, not outside of the Bundesland, I don't know. So that's why we build these cloud data centers in Germany under German regulations. And we have a group of Microsoft employees working with the Datenschützer.
Regulator?
Well, yeah, with the regulators, we can help with that as well.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Martin, please. You mentioned quickly the relationship with Monsanto. So Novozymes is in a collaboration with Monsanto. But you also have collaboration with smaller companies. So, for example, Organobalance was a very small company compared to Novozymes. How do you adapt to these different situations in your partnerships?
That is, of course, a challenge, but when you look at it, it comes down to, I think, most often when we look at the success stories, you have to have a very good overlap and across the product development pipeline. If you are competing in certain areas, it's always very difficult. So, as an example, for the Monsanto Alliance, as you mentioned, here we have a very clear split between tasks of the two partners. We screen strains in vitro. We provide the strains to our partner, and they have the capability to do field testing, big time. We didn't do that. We didn't even have greenhouse. We had one little greenhouse, but there was simply too small, right? And then the development of the product doesn't stop. Then you have regulatory. Then you have marketing. You need to have people on the ground to sell the product at the end. So the process of getting partnerships is often around defining what we want to do together, and then finding the ping pongs, where the product has to go in order to be successful. Don't know if that answers your question, but
yeah, for the big companies and with the smaller players.
With the smaller players, it's often not such a big deal because the smaller players, like for example Organobalance, they have a specific asset. Here it was, for example, the strain collection, the know-how. So it was an R&D acquisition. It was not only to acquire products. So for the smaller players, we usually have been dealing with addition to certain segments in the product development pipeline. Okay. But with the big alliances and with the big partners, we do the whole ping pong game.
Okay. Jeroen, about MERCK. MERCK Ventures is investing a lot in early stage and even spinning out some companies from MERCK directly, or helping at least. Why is this approach for your fund in particular?
Yeah, good point.
And how is it helping in cross innovation for you?
Yeah, good point. So I think first of all, I think cross innovation, of course, it's inherently quite risky, right? Because you're venturing into new areas, and I think the best way to kind of work with these novel concepts is to do this kind of in an early stage phase, because there you're light, you're agile, you can quickly adapt. But also you can take bets essentially, right? Because early stages, if you can play small bets, then you can actually give it a try. So I think in that sense, early stage investments, what we try to do, is a good tool for us at least to find these areas where cross innovation actually works. So that's, I think, reason number one. So it's kind of risk management. So the second thing, how we try to kind of manage cross innovation is also by letting people do the things that they're good at. So what we have is in Israel, we have an incubator facility. So essentially what we try to do there is take research from the labs, put them in the incubator facility, and what these people subsequently can do is they can focus purely on the science. So we have for them, we have support with admin, we have HR, finance, etc. So it's also, I think, about creating the best possible environment where you can have this cross innovation. And then lastly, as you indeed mentioned, spin-outs. And I also mentioned it at the start, right? You have cross-innovation in industry, you have cross-innovation in one specific industry, but I think people are also super important. And I think what we try to achieve is by actually getting people out of the pharma environment, bringing them into a biotech environment. So, spinning out assets from Merck is one way, but this is not like a single, simple one-way street. So we also try to actually, when we have our portfolio companies and, we're working with them, of course they run into issues, somewhere along the line. So we also try to actually bring them into contact with our MERCK R&D people if they're open to that, because then again, right, what you get is you get people with a very biotech mindset that are talking to people with a pharma mindset, and they have very different solutions to problems. They use different techniques, and I think that's also a way where it's not a very technological approach, but I think it's also very worthwhile to have this cross innovation more in the sense of a culture, perhaps, so to say. So that's those are kind of a couple of ways how we try to do that, and I think the early stage, investing in early stage opportunities is kind of the best way for us to do that.
Okay, yeah, thank you.